Welcome to the Inside Out how to put a planter together in a couple of minutes. What we have here laid out on the floor is all of the parts that you would have in the planter. A base, 4 sides and 2 connectors to each planter. What we're showing here is the smaller child's version, colours to be finalised, and Malcolm will now show you how all of the parts will go together. So Malcolm will put the base out to one side just for a second. We'll take one edge, and as you see the edge, it's got a base flat and then curved in edges. Butts the 2 edges together and slides over one of the connectors. Now in this case, we're sliding it over with the connector with the L-shaped part of the connector sticking out so it sticks halfway up. This is because we only want to put the planter, the base to the planter, halfway down. So if you were putting something like bedding in, you'd only want to fill the container half full. If you turn it the other way around and drop them right down to the bottom, you can then drop the base to the absolute bottom and fill the entire container with something like a bigger plant. What we'll do now is take the 3rd edge, sit it together against the others, and again what you see he was doing there was just overlapping the corners of the planter so that they all sit overlapped and slightly.
If I didn't
on it. What it does then is that when you've put the whole planter together, you can lift the planter and all the sides sit together. If you didn't overlap them, you'd lift the planter and 2 of the sides would drop out. So again, you're taking the planter, sliding it down, then you'll get the 4th side, drop it into place. Now, this can be constructed with one person, as Malcolm showing you. Obviously, 2 sets of hands will make life a little bit easier. But again, just putting the bottom connector into place, and then the 4th connector. You'll then take the base. Now, the base in the final thing will have 2 slots in the middle where Malcolm's indicating, so you can slide the connectors in to lower the base in easily. Malcolm's going to just use the corners to lower it in. It's not the best way, but at least it gets the base in there. Lower it in, it drops in, and it's now dropped down halfway. Then take the final 4 connectors, exactly the same as the others, and just drop them into the corners in exactly the same way as he did at the bottom. There's one more modification that's going to be made. Is if you sit and look at the top corner of where they're joined together, they're square at the moment. The final ones will be angled down, so it'll be easier to slide the connectors on. At the moment, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult. Malcolm does it so professionally. That then gives you a complete planter. Obviously, if you want to turn this into something more useful, you take 2 planters, as we have here, and you slide over the bench connection across the top of the 2 planters, and you now have a seating area. Nice plants in the corners and a seating area. Clearly, you could put another bench L shape onto these planters with a 3rd planter to create an even nicer, as Max indicates like that, with another planter over the end to make a nice L-shaped area.
a social area.
A social area.
And you could then have one in the middle, and that's your table.
And one in the middle, as Mel says, with the table. And we will have one that with a wooden oak tabletop to go on top of that and make that look really nice. So that's the premise behind it. Mel will now just show you very quickly on the bench. If we just turn the bench over, this will come as the 3 planks plus the 3 metal pieces and the fittings. Dead simple. All of the planks will be pre-screwed with a brass fitting in it that looks like that. That will be screwed down into the oak already for the consumer, so they won't have to touch that. They can then lay the things, the metal plate on top,
here and here.
and then the final action that they will have to do is screw simply down the metal connector that will go into the brass one that's fitted to the oak as such. No tools again, just premise between the whole thing. That can just be hand tightened and will be perfectly tight enough to hold the bench parts in place. Thank you.